median and mode. That is 2.8. I've skipped 2.7, the circle graphs, because we're going to come back to that later in classroom, okay? So let's get started on 2.8, mean, median, and mode. I'm going to start off with an example, but like always, I want you to take out a piece of paper, a lined paper, so that you can write, copy down notes, okay? I'm going to write this down. Take out a piece of lined paper to copy down notes and examples, okay? So I'll leave this here. So in our first example, we have a group of 10 boys and they have the following shoe sizes: 10, 7, 8, 11, 9, 10, 9, 8, 10, and 6. It's in no particular order. And then they want to find out what their average shoe size was, okay? One person says that the average is 8.8. Another says that it is 9, whereas another person says that it is 10. Who is correct? Well, if you just take a guess, maybe you would say 8.8 is correct and 9 and 10 is wrong. But in fact, all three of them are correct because average here, okay, there are more than one meanings of average. Okay, so let's take a look at what average actually means. Okay, let me just highlight this. Okay, today we're talking about averages. Okay, very often in average, okay, let me just make down average. Okay, there are three types of averages. Okay, the first type is called mean, and this type of average is the most commonly known and used type of average, okay? So the mean is actually the sum of all the data and divided by the number, the total number of data, the total number of data. Okay, so that's the most commonly known type of average. It's also the most commonly used as well. When most people say average, this is what they usually mean. But there are two other types of averages that not many people talk about all the time, but they still have their uses, and they are sometimes used as well, depending on the situation. The second type, okay, as you can tell from today's title, is median. Median somewhat sounds like middle. Middle is actually what it means, okay? Median is the most middle. I'm not sure if I have this correct, the definition, but it is the most middle. Actually, let me change it. The middle data once all the data is aligned, is sorted. The middle data in the sorted data, okay? That means you just pick the middle number, okay? For example, if I have 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this is already sorted from smallest to biggest, okay? Smallest to biggest. Okay, and so the middle data is that 3 over there. It is just right in the middle. Okay, this is, now notice that it is the middle number. There are 5 data, but how come I picked the third one? Well, that is the one in the middle. Okay, so there are two types of medians, in fact. Okay, this is the middle data in the sorted data, given that it is an odd number of data. Given, sorted data if odd number. Okay, now if there are an even number of data, so let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Usually, if you think of 6 number of data, you would say, oh, okay, I just divided by 2. That's the third one. And if I take that third one over there, does it look like it's in the middle? Not really. It's closer. It's closer to this end. So it's not really in the middle. So what we do, we would take the two middle numbers. So we would take the two middle numbers. So for an even number, we would take the two middle numbers and we would find the mean of those. Okay, mean of two middle numbers. Okay, it is the mean of the two middle numbers, meaning if it's 3 and 4, we would do 3 plus 4 divided by 2, and that's gonna be 3.5. Okay, in between, that's the in between number of the two. Okay, so there are two types: mean of two middle numbers if it is an even number of data. Okay, so this can be somewhat confusing. Okay, if the total number of data is odd, then you take the most middle one from visually. Okay, so it looks like it's right in the middle. Okay, it's right in the middle. Whereas if it's an even number of data, you would take the two middle numbers and you would find the mean of them. Okay, which is right in the middle of those two numbers. Okay, so that's median. And then we have one more type of average called the mode. Okay, this one is also not very commonly used, but some people do like to use it depending on some situations as well. Okay, so the mode is the data that occurs the most. Okay, data that occurs the most, meaning that it pops up the most. Okay, there's most of that number of data. Okay, so for example, very quick example, if I have a set of data that is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, the number that occurs the most, that appears the most, is actually that 1. Okay, there's 2 of that. So the mode will be 1 in this case. Okay, and if I have 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2 occurs the most, and that's the mode. Okay, we would say that mode is 1, mode is 2 over here. It is the one that occurs the most. Okay, so we have 3 types of averages here. Now let's get back. You might want to copy the definitions down. Okay, and then let's go back to our question over here. Okay, it says that, let me make some space. There we go. It says that let's find the average. Actually, let's go ahead and find the average of this. So the mean is the sum of all the data divided by the total number. So it's going to be 10 plus 7 plus 8 plus 11 plus 9 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 10 plus 6. That's all 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of that divided by 10. Okay, and so we add them all up. 10 plus 7 is 17. 17 plus 8 is 25. 25, 36, 45, 55. 55 plus 9 is 64. 64 plus 8 is 72. 72, 82 plus 6 is 88. Okay, so that's 88. All divided by 10, so that's 8.8. Okay, so that's what this person says, 8.8 over here. The other person says that is 9. What is 9? Well, let's look at median this time. Median. So the first thing we need to do in median is we have to sort the data from smallest to biggest. So which one is the smallest? That's 6 over there. So that's 6. And then let's look, that's 7. And then 8, we have 1 8 here. And then we have another 8 here. And then we have 9 over here. And then we have another 9 over here. And then after that, there's 10. And then there's one more 10. And another 10. And 11. Okay, let me make sure that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 data. Okay, and then we take, since this is an even number of data, we take our two middle number datas, two middle datas. Okay, so which is, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 datas. So 5 and 6 are in the middle. We take the mean of those two data, which is 9 and 9. The average of 9s are just 9. So the median is 9 over here. That is what this person says. Okay, now the last one is mode. And I think you can already see it. There's 2 8s, there are 2 9s, and there are 3 10s. So, which means the number that occurs, the shoe size that occurs the most is just the most number, which is 10. Okay, so the mode, I'll just put that over here, is 10, which is over there. So in fact, all three people are correct. Okay, all three of them are the average, but it's just different interpretations of the average. Okay. Okay, so let's look at a different example as well. But before we go into a different example, there's one more term in which I want to talk about. Okay, this term is called the range. Sometimes we need to know what the range is, and what the range is, it is the span of the data. Okay, the span of the data. And what do I mean by the span of the data? It is the largest minus the smallest data. Okay, largest minus the smallest. So if we look at our example from here, the range is going to be the biggest shoe size, 11, minus the smallest shoe size, which is 5. Okay, that is the span. Okay, that's how much it spans. From 6 all the way to 11, that's 5. Okay, so it's within 5 shoe sizes. Okay, all of these data. Okay, that's the range. So let's look at a different example here. I want you to copy this down into your notes as well. Pause the video anytime to copy. Once you're done, I will continue. So I assumed you have copied it down already. And so in this example, it shows the minutes that students practice a musical instrument each week. Okay, so here we have 8 students. Okay, we have 8 students in this example. Okay, and each one of them practice different number of times. Some students are more hardworking. We can see this person really practices a lot, and then we can see like these people, they don't really practice much, and so you can tell that they don't really care too much about their musical instrument. They're just playing for the sake of playing. Okay, and so here each week, okay, number of student practices, maybe this is in minutes. Okay, 30 minutes a week, that's very little. Okay, so first thing, which averages are representative of the data set? Okay, now representative, this is a word, this is a new word in our lesson here. Let me get rid of this. Representative. Okay, what it means by it, best, it's a shows the most appropriate average of the data set. Okay, shows the most appropriate average of the data set. Now, why do we need to know this? Once we find out the averages of this example, you'll then see. Okay, so let's get started. Let's find the mean first. Okay, The mean of the data is the sum of all data divided by the number of data. So that's going to be 30 plus 30 plus 50 plus 90 plus 100 plus 120 plus 150 plus 630, okay? And then all of that divided by 8. Okay, I'm going to start from 630, adding it up. 630 plus 150 is 780. 780, 880 plus 20 is 900. 1,000, 1,090, 1,140, 1,170, 1,200. That's 1,200 all divided by 8. Okay, and does that divide out nicely? I think it does. So let's quickly do this. 1,200 all divided by 8. 8 goes into it once. That's 400 remaining, so that's 50. 150, okay? So let's get rid of this. So that's 150 minutes. That's the mean, okay? The mean is 150 minutes. Then let's look at the median. And what we do in the median is we have to sort the data from smallest to biggest. And good thing, it's already sorted. So all I have to do is list it out. 30, 30, 50, 90, 100, 120, 150, and 630. And we take the two middle numbers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In our 8 numbers, the two middle numbers are 4 and 5, okay? So it's going to be the average, the mean of the two middle numbers, which is 90 plus 100 divided by 2 is 95, okay? So that's the median data. And then next is mode. Mode is the number that occurs the most. And there's only one data that repeats itself here. That's 30 and 30. So that's 30. So we have 3 different averages, okay? The first average is 150 minutes. The second average is 95 minutes. And the third one is 30 minutes. Now, the question did say, which average are representative of the data set? Okay, that means it shows the most appropriate average. It tells you what is a good example of the average of this data set. Do you think, let's look at the first one, mean here, 150. Is that a good average of all the data? Well, if you look at this student practice times, okay, there's only 2 people that practices 150 or more. Okay, so 2 out of all 8 people, that's going to be 2 out of the 8 people. It's not really a good, well, not even 2, okay? Because that third person is way different from 150. So there's only one person, the 7th person, 7th out of the 8 people, 7th out of 8 people that does 150 minutes, okay? I don't think that's really it's not a very good average, okay? And then if we look at mode here, okay, 30 minutes, well, there is 2 people that does 30 minutes, and 50 is somewhat close to 30 minutes, but does it show the whole group's average? If I say that, oh yeah, the group's average practice time is 30 minutes, what do you think other people would think? Wow, these 8 people are all so lazy. They only practice 30 minutes a week, all 8 of them, and that's what you're saying me the average time is? So also, that's not so good, okay? Not so good representative. And so let's look at median this time. That is 95 minutes, okay? Let me use a different color. 95 minutes. Do you think that's an appropriate average? I think it sort of is. It's in the middle. It's definitely in the middle. That's what median means. And it's not too terrible. It's not so far away from all the other data, 95 minutes. It's in between 190. It's still somewhat close to 120, not too far off from 50. And so I would say the only average that is representative of the data would be the median. Okay, so I would say which average are representative is the representative of the data set. I would say the median average 95 minutes is a representative of the average of the data set. Okay, so these are differences of the three averages. Okay, not all can be used. Now, I'm gonna make up a third example. So I'm gonna make up a third example. Before you get to the homework, okay, I want you to also note this down, write this down as well. So I have here example 3. Okay, so let's say there is a math support class. Okay, in a math support class, maybe it's better if I type this up. Okay, so here, example 3, in a math support class, there are 8 students. Okay, and they are put in the math support class because they didn't do so well in their maybe in their term tests, something like that. Okay, and so one of those students, however, is actually a very smart student, but he just was lazy in all the tests, and so he did fairly poorly and was put into the math support class. Okay, and so these are the test results after 1 month of support. Okay, and so that person, that smart person, probably decided he doesn't want to be in that support class anymore, and so he decided to, okay, maybe I'll do good this time. Okay, and so out of 100, maybe the scores are 45. We have a 60, we have a 50, and then we have a 55. That smart person probably scored a 95 because he's very smart, but then he was just lazy. And then I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 more data. And so let's say one person is really bad and got 40, and then we got another 40, another 45. Okay, so when we look at this, what are the mean, median, and mode of this data? Well, if we add them all up, okay, actually, I'm just gonna change them all to tens to make adding easier. 40s, and then let's say this one is also 50, and then this is 90, and another 40. Let's say it's a 30. Let's say it's a 30. Okay, 30, 40, 40, 50, 60, and oh, I missed out this 55. That's supposed to be, let's change this also to 40 again. Okay, so mean. Okay, mean is the sum of all the data. So 40 plus 60 plus 50 plus 40 plus 90 plus 40 plus 30, all divided by 8. So that's 40 plus 6, 150, 190, 280, 320, and 350. So that's 350 divided by 8. And so if we use long division, 350 divided by 8, 8 goes into this 4 times 32. We have 30 remaining. That's 3 times 24, and then that's 6 remaining. 43.5.67 is 56. Is that right? And I'll just leave it there. Okay, I'll just leave it 43.7. Okay, 43.7. I'll just leave that there. And then mean median. Okay, let's look at the median now. What we have to do is we have to sort the data from smallest to largest. So 30, 40, 40, 40. So 30, 40, 40, 40. And then we have 50, 60, and 90. The middle two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, why did I only have 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I only had 7. I need one more. Let's do another 50 then. Okay, I said 8 students. Okay, so I needed to add another 50, so that becomes 400. Oh, that makes it a very good number to divide. 400 divided by 8 is 50. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's very good. So, that's gonna be 50, another 50, and then we have 60 and 90. Okay, good. Let's look at the median. The two middle numbers, 40 and 50, 4 and 5, and then that's gonna be 45. Okay, and then the mode is the number that occurs the most, which is 40. Okay, so when we look at it, the mean appears to be higher than the rest. Okay, why is the mean higher? It is because this smart person over here has raised the whole average of the class. Okay, it has raised the mean of the class. So 50 is not really a good representative of the data. Well, there are 2 people that scored 50, but there are more people that scored on the lower end of the results. Okay, so median 45 and the mode 40 would be a better representative of the averages. Okay, so let's look at the range as well. I forgot to talk about the range. The range is the largest data minus the smallest data, which is 90 minus 30, and that's 60. And we can say that 60 is a huge spread, okay? The spread of the data is between 30 and 90. So that's a very big range, okay? So when the range is big, it means that the data is spread out by a lot. And when the range is small, then the data is very concentrated. It's somewhat similar. Okay, so this is a very simple lesson on mean, median, mode, and also range as well. So your homework questions are all of this. Please complete them all nicely. Follow the questions. And if you don't have the questions, they are on PowerSchool classroom page. There's a link to the PDF version of the textbook. Okay, so see you all soon in the class, hopefully.